What the main thing I do as a librarian is maintain the collection, which means reviewing book reviews, purchasing them, processing them, putting them on displays, promoting them. That's one of the main things I do. Another thing I do is help with technology. Reading, to me, gives you a lot of power because if you can read and you read well, it gives you freedom. My undergraduate degree was in biology, and I also have a master's in biology. But then I wanted to try something different than the classroom, so my love of reading and learning, it's more my love of learning, led me to get that. When I said books, those would be the most important part of my job. This kind of nails why. You want weapons, we're in a library. Books, the best weapons in the world. This room's the greatest arsenal that we could have, so arm yourselves. To me, reading equals learning equals freedom. Biggest change I have seen is the explosion of information. When I started at North Central in 2000 as a librarian. And at that point, librarians still had a lot of control over information because we were the only place that had computers. But now we know, you got Chromebooks. So the explosion of information along with devices and technology, and therefore my role has changed because we've got so many people with technology devices in their hand that brought on technicians, whereas that used to be a big part of my role. But now it's not because that's not my main focus. My main focus is still to provide the resources. For example, when I first came to Beaufort, librarians also like to take pictures. It's kind of a historical archiving type thing that I remember it was class day and not many people, you didn't have cameras on your phones then. I know that's hard to believe, but you didn't. Or they weren't very good quality, so you still had the actual Nikon Canons, and I had one, and I had a good one. So I can remember, there for a couple of years, I took a lot of pictures of those special occasions, whereas now, everybody takes their own. So that's just another example of where the technology grew. We had access to more devices. Same thing with the information. It's just, there's so much information out there. But I think that we struggle trying to decide what's really important and what's not. I don't think books will go away. I think you will always have to have, as a democratic society, you will always have to have access to free information. So therefore, I don't think libraries will go away. I don't think librarians will go away because somebody's got to still buy them and get them organized. And it might be all computer servers, who knows? But I don't think you'll ever have a time when there's no libraries. I love the books. I love to order the books when they come in. I open the boxes and I roll around in them. No, really don't. That's my favorite, and I have a very hefty budget. So one of the things I try to do is I try to look at what's popular on TV, what's in the movies, also taking into consideration what you've probably read in your classes that you like let's say To Kill a Mockingbird, try to find something similar to that. So a lot of that is really being a purchaser, which you don't think a librarian would have that particular role, which sounds like business, to understand psychology of what people want and then to provide it for them. So I love the books. I had a choice maybe to deviate at one time and to go more technology, and I couldn't do it. I wasn't leaving my books. That's another role that I play that you would not think a librarian would do, and that is like a promoter, merchandising. If you think about going into Barnes and Nobles or Books A Million, they usually have things set up to draw your attention. And there again, just because I like to do it and come up with the displays, just hoping to promote and catch somebody's eye and say, oh, let me look at that. It's a connection too with the students. One thing that has helped was the flex time and it being managed better, because we know we can assign a student to go here and we know they'll be there. That gave me a way to do some programming too, like the public library. Like for example, we listened to the audiobook, the spooky audiobook, and back here like a little fake campfire. So that has helped, Flex has helped, just to give students extra time to come in here, because I know in every class I took, when you're dealing with young adults, y'all were so busy. You're busy with school, with work, with extracurricular, and if you're given time, a lot of students will calm down. They'll, settle themselves down, and they'll read a few minutes. So flex time has helped a lot. And our English teachers, I think, have embraced, for the most part, they've embraced giving them some time to read in class. That's important. It's important. We lose ourselves in books, but we also find ourselves there. And the last one, in the end, we all become stories, and that is by Margaret Atwood. Just to leave you with those few thoughts.
So I am media assistant at the school. So I have, in relation to books and librarian month, my job is to really just help take care of the library. So I've had to do everything from pull titles off the shelves to rearrange shelves. I have to take in books that have been checked out, and I have to put books back on the shelf that have been turned back in. And I do my best. I'm not as good at this as Ms. Parker is because I haven't been doing it as long, but I do my best to recommend books to students who come in with interests. I do my best to help when students have questions about genres that they're interested in, or helping find sequels and series and stuff like that. And then when it comes to like interests, like real world interests like welding or farms or stuff like that, I try to find books that correlate to those interests in our nonfiction section as well. And then of course there's also the technology aspect of my job, which is working with Chromebooks and helping students troubleshoot those devices and figuring out how we can help them get back with a functioning device. I think a lot of students don't read because they're put off from reading because of assigned reading. I think assigned reading is important because there are works that you wouldn't read otherwise. But I think that it's important for students to understand that whatever you're interested in, there's gonna be a book that fits with that interest. Whatever you like in movies, TV shows, sports, there's always gonna be a book for that. And I think more students, if they could find that area that they really fall into, they would be able to read a lot more. We do need librarians. Librarians are very important. They keep knowledge, they keep stories, they are so helpful and beneficial to not only our schools, but our communities. And even looking back throughout history, librarians have been a huge part of keeping historical documents, historical records, and making sure that education continues and it doesn't stop after high school or after whatever formal education is required for children.